What's up, everybody? This is Beowulf710, and I'm here to give you a rundown on the new bulk spawn update they have for the AC-Sysbot. It's going to be a lot to go over, and there's going to be quite a few things going on, so I've got a lot of different windows open, a lot of different things going on, so I'll go over the whole thing in detail right here, right now, on setting it up. This is not a guide on setting up Sysbot. This is just a guide on going over the new update, which is the field item spawning, bulk spawning. You can bulk spawn both large quantities of items and NHI files. So let's get into it. When you first update your Sysbot, you will go in and you'll run it like normal, and you'll get your Discord and your config file. You're going to open your config file, and you will see right here all of your field item config, field item offset, field item layer path, full refresh cooldown minutes, inject field item layer, inject field item request, max spawn count, max spawn height. As you can see, I've gone through and I've edited a few of these already. Right here, as you can see. Those are a little different than default, and we'll go over what each one of these means. The field item offset, that is going to be standard default of what it is right there in the paper, in the notepad that you see. Without that, it will not spawn anything, so make sure you have that in there. If an update happens, that may change, so we'll have to see what happens when an update comes out. Field item layer path, we are still working on this part of it. We are supposed to be able to go in and do a full layer refresh. So you can set it to a certain layer path, and it's supposed to refresh the whole layer. I'm still working on that one, have not gotten it quite right yet. And then the full refresh cooldown minutes, that goes along with the field item layer path refresh, and how long it will take before it will do a refresh. Inject field item layer, once again, that is for the actual layer, injecting it, something we are still working on. Inject field item request, this one you definitely want to set to true. This is to actually have it spawn anything in. Some people have said that it works with it on false. Some people say it doesn't. Go ahead and you just want to make sure that it is set to true just to be safe. Max spawn count is how many items the actual bot will spawn on the ground at one time. Default is 40. That is basically due because 40 is the max inventory items. I have mine set for 20 right now. This is just a test. We're just going to see what happens. The max height, the spawn max height, that is how high or how many items in a vertical row it will spawn what you requested. So I have mine set to 5 items, so it'll spawn 5 items vertically and then move over to the next row horizontally, and then spawn 5 more and keep going until however many items are requested. Currently, if you, and this will be based on how the host sets up their bot, if you have it set for a certain mode, and we'll get to that here in a second, that's going to determine how many items somebody will have to spawn. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. The spawn spacing, X is horizontally, how far over between each spawn that you request is there going to be a space. So you want at least one. That'll give you one full square between each item request. Spawn spacing Y, I'm actually going to update that because we want that to actually be one more than our spawn max height. What that will do is give us one extra space and separate out our individual requests. Now this is where it gets interesting. The coordinates. The spawn min X, spawn min Y, spawn max X, and spawn max Y. Now to get these coordinates, you are going to need to use NHSE. We all know what that is. If you are doing this, you know what NHSE is. So let me pull that up real quick, and I'll show you exactly what we got. So right here, I actually have open the field editor of NHSE so that I can see the coordinates. Okay, so right here we've got our coordinates right there. So, and as you can see, I am right outside my airport. So I want to make a little spawn area right outside my airport so I don't have to run very far to get it to refresh. So let's pick our coordinates. So our min X is where we want our top left corner to be. So go into NHSE, pick whatever corner you want. Wherever you want your first item to spawn in the top left corner. So I'm looking here, and it looks like we have a coordinates of 84 and 138. So I'm going to jump down here, and we're going to put 84 and 138. Now you would think that you would just go in here and say, okay, I want to go, 10 squares over. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then 10 squares down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you would think this corner right here is where we want to be. That is our last spawn hex right there. You would think it's 105, 159 is what we're supposed to put in our spawn max X and spawn max Y. But that is not what we need to do. I do not know why this is the case, but what we need to do is if you take your, I'm going to write these numbers in just so I don't forget them. 105 and it was what? 159. Alright. We're not going to use those numbers, I'm just typing them in so that I don't forget them. So in NHSE, if you come all the way over to the farthest corner in the bottom right, you'll notice that that hex is, or that coordinate is 223, 191. What we're going to do to get our max X and max Y is subtract 223 and 191 and our actual coordinates. So we're going to go in here and we're going to do 223 minus 105 and 191 minus 159. And that is going to give us our max X and max Y coordinates. Again, I don't quite understand why this is the case. It has something to do with acres that we cannot see and that NHSE does not spawn. So, but when we do that, we get these numbers right here, 118 and 32. So we're going to erase these numbers and this number. Okay. So now that we have those numbers, we can go ahead and close out of our field editor. We don't need that anymore because we've got our spawns. And we can close out of that. So, back over here in our config file, the last item or option in this new setup is the mode. We've got 3 different modes. Mode 0 is to fill your spawn max height and then move horizontally. Mode 1 is to try to make a square, a perfect square out of however many items you request. And mode 2 is spawn all the items completely vertically, straight down, in one line. I personally don't see that ever being used, but someone may find that useful. Just know if you do that, you do need to make sure that your max height is set for however many items your max count is. So I'm going to do a mode 0, which means it's going to spawn items at 5 items in a row and then move horizontal. So we're going to go over here. We're going to close out of this one. We're going to save our settings. Actually, let's cancel that. Let's just save. Alright, it's saved that now. So now we can go back in and we can restart the bot itself. So we'll go over here. Alright, so the bot is starting up right now. Alright, put that to the back. So we're done with our config file. I just have it open in the background just so I can make changes to it quickly and show you guys everything. But if you've got it how you want it set up, you can close out of it and leave it closed and just run your bot.